Hey guys, I'm finally back. Sorry that I wasn't able to make a video last week, but I was working. But anyway, I'm back at it today. So I just want to introduce exactly what my channel is going to be about because I really didn't do that last week. So for the most part, I'm going to be discussing beauty tips, fashion things, but in other serious matters, I'm also going to talk about career advice and professional development. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I have a few notes on my phone to kind of keep me grounded on what I'm going to say, but I want to jump right into it. First and foremost, I want to say happy Teachers Appreciation Week and happy Nurses Week to all of my teachers and nurses. So as we're talking about nursing, I want to focus in on nursing. Nursing is my career, and I want to just give a couple of tips to different students and other nursing professionals. I'm going to jump right in. So the first thing I want to talk about is school. When you're in school, there's a lot of different things that you're going to learn, and the most important thing are your fundamentals. When you're looking for classes to take in the beginning, make sure you get all of your prerequisites out of the way. As far as fundamentals go, you're going to learn about the important things like bed baths and blood pressure cuffs, vital signs, all of that in the beginning. Make sure you have everything, your parameters, all of that on point in the beginning. And the reason why is because information builds on itself, and it's just going to get even more and more harder. They will tell you in nursing school that some of the people you start with, you're not going to finish with, and they're so right. You want to be that student that's really focused. College is not the time to be focused on partying and all of the fun stuff. Yeah, it happens, but if you really focus on your studying, your schoolwork, by the time you're finished, you're about 22, 23, maybe even 21, and you can do all that stuff later. Focus on trying to get finished in your career. The second thing I want to talk about is, do you need a BSN to be a registered nurse? Technically, no, you don't. There are some nurses who have an associate's degree. Others have graduated from diploma programs. However, that's something that's being kind of faded away within the industry. So though you do not need a BSN to be a registered nurse, I will say that it is important to get a BSN. A lot of hospitals are going that way to hiring people who do have a BSN. For those of you who do not know what BSN is, it is a bachelor's in the science of nursing. Do I personally have a BSN? Yes, I do. And I think that it's important to have as far as finding work, because that's something that they look for. They want to see that you went that extra mile to get your bachelor's degree, to show that that's what you want to do. A lot of nurses that I work with who don't have their BSN have been encouraged to go back to school. If you don't want to go back to school, just get it all done in the beginning. So after school, for those of you who are coming up on graduation, you're thinking about the next thing, which is NCLEX, which is the test that nurses take in order to become a registered nurse. So NCLEX is set up where it's basically you answer a bunch of questions and then the computer shuts off. You have either passed or you have failed. The least amount of questions that you need to pass is 75. The most amount of questions, well, pass or fail. So the least amount of questions that you can take is 75. The most amount of questions that you can take is over 200. I think it's either 235 or 265, somewhere around there. So the test can shut off at 75 questions, and it doesn't mean that you passed or you failed. It just means one or the other, and you'll have to wait, I think, 2 days, or even if the next day you go in and you search your name under your state's licensure site, you'll find your name. That's how you know if you passed. So me personally, mine shut off at about question 160, I think. So not 75, but not 235 or 265 either. So I'm pleased with that. I passed after the first try, and I'm glad to say that after that, I knew that I was a registered nurse. The next thing is the job hunt. So for me personally, right after graduation, I started working as a health director for a summer camp. I graduated in June, and I started my job at the summer camp the next week. So just as a health director, I didn't need to be a nurse at that point. I just needed to be up to date on my CPR, AED experience, and I was on that. So in the middle of the month, of July is when I took my NCLEX exam. So as soon as you graduate, you will get an email about scheduling the test. I say it's important to schedule the test as soon as possible. You want to take the test while the information is still in your head, but I also think it's important to make sure you do something in between, something that will relax you. What I did before my test was I took a vacation for about a week. I just went to Orlando. I did questions, just study questions by the pool over and over again. And then finally, the day after I came back is when I took my NCLEX. Another thing I would say, and this is just me personally, I wouldn't tell anybody that I was taking the test. The only person that knew I was taking the NCLEX exam was my mother, and I think one of my close nursing friends. And that way there's no pressure on you to tell people that you passed or you failed. You kind of just say, hey, I passed. That's the exciting part of it. So back to my job hunt. The next thing that I did after the summer was over, I think the summer camp was over in August, I just put in applications throughout the entire summer, and I finally got an interview by the end of September. So I was only out of work for about 6 weeks, and after I think I interviewed on a Thursday, I shadowed the floor on a Friday, and I was hired by Monday. So my start date was in October, but it was a fairly easy process. So to talk about jobs, one of the most important pieces of advice that someone gave to me about nursing is they told me, don't start your nursing career in a cushy environment, like a really high, I hate to say it, high acidity, or like really affluent environment. Try to get to the nitty-gritty of a city environment. So I was in the heart of the city of Philadelphia for my first nursing job, and I was able to encounter so many different people, homeless people, poor people, people that I wouldn't necessarily come in contact with on a regular basis. And from that, I learned so much. For my first nursing job, I worked on a telemetry cardiac step-down unit, and eventually it became an observation unit as well. So doing that made things better for me in the long run for what my job is now, and I'll tell you about that, because I was in a city hospital. There were no nursing assistants. I was able to pick up on all of my skills, not only just with nursing, but putting in IVs, drawing blood, things that some hospitals that have phlebotomists or IV teams, they might take that for granted. I did all of those things on my own. So I stayed in that job for about 1.5 years, and it was an amazing first nursing job experience. The second job that I started, which I'm in right now, is in maternity. I always knew that I wanted to do maternity as far as nursing is concerned. I'm on a mother-baby unit, and a lot of people will say, oh, do a med-surg job first and then go into your specialty. It depends on you. Some people start in their specialty and that's where they are for the entire time. I think that it benefited me starting in med-surg, because now that I am in maternity, which I'm in a different hospital now altogether, I have my med-surg experience to fall back on. When it comes to postpartum, which is what I'm doing, most of these women are healthy, they've just had a baby. However, when there are some different medical issues that come about, I still have my med-surg experience to fall back on. It was interesting because the other night we didn't have any CNAs to help us on the floor, and I knew how to draw all of my blood and how to put in an IV for another nurse who is not used to doing that. So I loved the fact that I'm able to assist in my new job because of the skills that I learned in my past job. So let me see what I have next. All right, so after year 1, what is it that you want to do after you've finished your first year? You could, like me, switch to another job, or you could stay in what you're with if that's where you want to be. What I'm thinking about now is certification. Technically, I've only been in mother-infant for about 2 months now, so it's not something that I'm thinking about immediately. Every hospital has different policies as to how long you have to have been a nurse and how long you have to have worked at that hospital for them to sponsor you to get certified in a specific field. But the field specific to me, if I was to get a certification, is either lactation, because I do help with breastfeeding, and or maternal newborn, low risk newborn nursing. I could get certified in these things, which shows that I've done extra learning for specific unit specific nursing for this unit. So that's something that I'm considering. I'm not really sure if it's anything that I'm going to do right now, and I'm not even sure of my hospital's policies of when I can get certified, but that's what I'm looking to next. Joining professional organizations. It always looks good on your resume if you join a professional organization, but don't just join one to join one. I think it's important to do your research about the organization. I think it's also important to know what that organization stands for, if it's affiliated with anything, what type of community service is that organization involved in. Know all of these things before you jump into anything. One thing I am privileged is my hospital has asked me if I will go to a conference for the National Black Nurses Association this summer. And so that'll be my first brush with a professional organization, a professional nursing organization. And therefore I can kind of learn more about that organization and see if that's something that I want to fit with. Hopefully it's some time away, it's in July, but I know I probably won't be able to share footage from the conference. However, I do want to touch on some things while I'm there. I will kind of take you guys with me with my stay and also with professional development. I told you this is a fashion channel. You should also know the importance of dressing in a professional manner. And those are the things that we'll touch on then. But I'll also have a what to wear on an interview video at a later time. Okay, the last two things I want to talk about is different licensures. If you're licensed in one state, do you have to take a test in another state if you want to switch? No, you don't. So once you take the NCLEX, you have taken the NCLEX for all time. It is important per state that you get a certain amount of continued education credits to keep up your licensure, and you have to renew it every 2 years, and there's a fee. So me personally, I love Florida. I'm not sure if I'll live there one day or not, but I did apply for the licensure. While I was in Florida, I did my fingerprinting, and then that was pretty much it. My license came in the mail a couple of weeks later, and so now I am licensed in the states of Pennsylvania and Florida for nursing. So those are things to think about if you have to move. It's not too hard to get your license in other states. Some states are more difficult than others. I hear that California is difficult. I hear that New Jersey is a little difficult to get your license, but there are programs to assist you. If you're thinking about travel nursing, there's some agencies that will assist you in obtaining your licensure if that's something that you're worried about. And the last thing that I want to touch on is grad school. Is grad school necessary? So me personally, I do not think I will be going to grad school. However, I know many people that do. If you're looking for a leadership role, or if you're looking for a management role, if you're looking to become a nurse practitioner, yes, you would want to go to grad school. And there's many different programs, online and in-school programs, that can help you. So these are just some of the things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to nursing and career advice. I would love for you to like, comment, and subscribe. Please, with any questions that you have or any other things that you'd like for me to talk about when it comes to nursing, I would love to know so that I can make more videos like this. Again, this is KJ. I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye.